Breaking right now at 11, a suspect is in custody right now, charged in a Salisbury homicide. Tonight, the victim's family describes how they're dealing with this loss.
It's a warm night out there. Temperatures holding steady in the 60s. Coming up, we've got record-breaking temperatures in your weekend forecast.
And a senior community left shaken tonight after a person woke up to a stranger in their bedroom. My neighbors say they're taking security precautions after this shocking incident.
We are going to start with that breaking news in Salisbury tonight. I'm Colin Mayfield.
And I'm Vanessa Rufus. Police say they have someone in jail as we speak after a deadly shooting in Salisbury. Namias Jackson is charged with first-degree murder in the death of Sebastian Rankin Jr.
Officers say yesterday around 4 p.m. they arrived at a home on Beard Street. They found Rankin Jr. dead and several others injured. Well, now Rankin's mother is speaking out tonight after her son was killed.
Family members say he died after his ex-girlfriend and another man broke into his home. As WCNC Charlotte's Siobhan Riley explains, detectives say a domestic assault escalated into a shooting.
When Salisbury police arrived, they said multiple people were hurt, including Sebastian Rankin Jr., who lost his life. In the meantime, they say Namias Jackson has been charged with first-degree murder. This mother, who doesn't want to show her face on camera, just overcame surgery after learning she has breast cancer. The same day she completed surgery, she learned her son, Sebastian Rankin Jr., became the latest victim of a homicide.
What is going through your mind as the mother?
I was hurt, very hurt.
Loved ones gathered at a home on Beard Street just one day after Rankin was killed.
It's just heartbreaking to have to tell a 7-year-old that her uncle is no longer here. You know, it's just a lot. You can't fathom the thought of what has happened. It's just senseless.
Family members say Rankin's ex-girlfriend and Namias Jackson broke into Rankin's home by busting this now covered-up window. They say Jackson shot and killed Rankin after police responded to the break-in.
The other guy should have just walked away and left. They should have never came over here anyway.
According to friends and family, Rankin asked his ex-girlfriend to move out last week. She started the process Thursday.
He was a loving brother, a loving son, a loving dad, a great dad. And he just always showed up for the people that he cared for.
This photo of Rankin and his daughter, who passed away 3 years ago, is special to the family.
What do you think was going through his mind when he took that photo?
He was happy. He always wanted kids.
And the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation is assisting Salisbury police with this case. If you have any information, be sure to call Crime Stoppers. In Salisbury, Siobhan Riley, WCNC Charlotte.
Not a bad way to end the work weekend. It sounds like a beautiful weekend ahead, too.
Yeah, a real warm start to the weekend. We had that smoke earlier this evening, guys. That is kind of thinned out there, but this will be less of an issue tomorrow. A lot of controlled or what we call prescribed burns going on. We had southwest winds most of the day, but notice tomorrow during the day, the wind's going to shift more to the west. So all these individual prescribed burns that are going on, the wind's going to be taking the smoke this way. We'll have to watch for some smoke to the west. But on Sunday, the winds will shift back to the southwest, and you'll notice those smoke plumes could be drifting back towards Charlotte. It's just something we're going to be dealing with all weekend long. Do have some rain in eastern North Carolina, but way out to the coast. This northwest flow around this giant ridge of high pressure is going to bring us a chance of maybe some isolated storms later tomorrow night. But look at these temperatures. We're still sitting in the mid 60s, so the overnight low is not that low. In fact, it's going to be a real struggle to even drop down into the mid 50s by tomorrow morning. With that mild start to your Saturday, we're easily going to get up into the lower 80s tomorrow, but we could go even higher for Sunday with record high temperatures possible coming up. We'll show you how hot it'll get on Sunday and when we could see a little bit of a cool down going into next week.
All right, we'll stay tuned. Thank you, Brad. A man remains in jail tonight on a $100,000 bond after a shooting in University City. Police say 18-year-old Genesis Petty is facing multiple charges, including assault with a deadly weapon. We first told you about this story last night. We showed you that large police presence at a gas station that was right next to the Walmart on North Tryon Street, just off of I-45. One person was seriously hurt in that shooting.
A man who recently pleaded guilty to several charges in a Rowan County homicide has learned his fate tonight. Stephen Buchanan will now spend more than 50 years in prison for killing his uncle Charles Knight. We're told Knight's remains were found in the backyard of his home in August of 2024.
A Monroe senior community is reeling tonight after police arrested a young person for breaking into an apartment and trying to sexually assault a woman while she slept. Investigators say the woman fought back and the person ran off. And police say security cameras helped them quickly track him down and arrest him. Still, many in the community say they're on edge.
This is a senior community. We shouldn't have to worry about this. It's just sad. It's just really sad. But it made me a lot more alert of my surroundings and stuff.
Police say folks should lock their doors and windows and, if possible, get security cameras. They also say outdoor lighting can help deter crime.
Charlotte City Council members are in the nation's capital tonight, pushing for more funding to support transit and public safety. Julie Kay has details and filed this special mobile report on our WCNC Charlotte mobile app. You can download that right now, by the way. Take a look.
So the city of Charlotte is asking the federal government for millions of dollars in support for things like mobility, public safety, specifically for CMPD. They're looking at around $10 million for things like take-home patrol cruisers, body cameras, and police radios. Some of those are, of course, from day-to-day operations, and some of those for retention and recruitment of officers. That's a problem in Charlotte and North Carolina across the board because the state still does not have a budget. So some of these things that typically the local government would ask the state for, really there's no progress made on that right now, and that's why these federal government asks, they say, are more important. So we had multiple council members go to DC and lobby to our North Carolina representatives and senators this past week. Time will tell if that actually comes to fruition.
Hickory City Schools are responding tonight to a proposed merger plan with Catawba County Schools.
Yeah, Catawba County commissioners are considering a proposal that would create a new school district. The Catawba Valley School District would combine Catawba County Schools, Hickory Schools, and Newton-Conover City Schools.
In a statement released just hours ago, Hickory City Schools says leadership has not participated in drafting or shaping the proposal. And they also say district officials continue to stand firmly in its position that a merger of the three school systems is not in the best interest of their students, staff, or community. A public meeting will happen on April 20th before there's a vote on this proposal. North Carolina Senator Phil Berger is now formally requesting a hand recount in that state Senate race against Rockingham County Sheriff Sam Page. Berger's trailing by just 23 votes in that Republican primary. A machine recount found no change in the results. And we're seeing these developments just a day after election officials say they found probable cause to move forward with evidentiary hearings per protests that Berger filed.
Tonight, Attorney General Jeff Jackson is trying to stop the approved merger between Nexstar and Tegna, including this station. Just hours ago, Jackson filed an emergency motion for a temporary restraining order. This all comes less than 48 hours after he and 7 other attorneys general filed a lawsuit against this deal. Among the suit's arguments is that there would be less competition in local news. Both Nexstar and Tegna say combining the companies, though, would expand local coverage. To this, a major step forward in South Carolina on how hemp drinks and gummies are going to be regulated potentially. State senators approved a bill after months of debate. Under this plan, low-dose THC drinks could be sold in convenience and grocery stores, but only behind the counter. Stronger products and those gummies would be limited to liquor stores. The bill would also ban bars and restaurants from serving hemp drinks. This now heads back to the House for final approval.
We've got a positive measles update out of North Carolina tonight. The state health department says there have been no new measles cases since Tuesday, and so that total number of the upstate outbreak still stands at 997. At this hour, there are 2 people in quarantine, nobody in isolation. It's notable here that the area does have to go 42 days without a new case to be able to declare an end to the outbreak. New tonight, the city of Newton will soon have a new interim police chief. The agency announced just hours ago Major Mark David Beal will take over that position. He's currently a deputy chief at the department. Say that again? I'm sorry. Our director was speaking to me. Beal has 3 decades of law enforcement experience, including 28 years with Newton. He will step into the interim role Friday next week.
More troops will soon be deployed to the Middle East as the Iran war escalates. What the president is saying about what could come next.
And a warm start to the weekend means record highs could be possible by Sunday. It could be near 90 in a few spots. Coming up, I'll show you when the cool down moves back in.
Turning now to the latest in the Iran war. The U.S. is now accelerating deployment of thousands of Marines, even more of them, and sailors to the Middle East. That's according to two NBC News sources. This comes as attacks across the Middle East intensify. One person was injured as an Iranian missile fragment fell in the old city of Jerusalem this afternoon. And in fact, it looks like Iran may have shot a missile towards the Indian Ocean as well. Trump gave an update on the war just hours ago, saying that attacks will continue.
Well, look, we can have dialogue, but I don't want to do a ceasefire. You know, you don't do a ceasefire when you're literally obliterating the other side. They don't have a Navy. They don't have an Air Force. They don't have any equipment. They don't have any spotters. They don't have anti-aircraft. They don't have radar, and their leaders have all been killed at every level. We're not looking to do that.
The president commenting just before he left in the helicopter to go to Mar-a-Lago. Now, currently, the U.S. has about 50,000 troops deployed in the Middle East. So far, the war in Iran has been conducted through the air and on the sea.
Negotiations continue tonight as DHS is still without funding. Both chambers are set to leave Washington on a 2-week recess for the Easter and Passover holidays next Friday. But Senate Majority Leader John Thune has warned that he could keep the chamber in session by canceling some or all of that planned recess without a funding breakthrough. By the way, you're looking live at the Capitol right now, where sides are holding their bipartisan talks tonight. Republicans say they sent Democrats a legislative counterproposal on making changes to DHS, and that meeting included White House border czar Tom Homan alongside other White House officials.
Over 170,000 ovens sold at Home Depot and Lowe's are being recalled. The Frigidaire gas range ovens were recalled after dozens of burn injuries were reported. Officials say the problem stems from the oven's bake burner, which are posing a burn hazard risk. The ovens were sold at several retailers between June of 2025 and just this past January. For a full list of Frigidaire models and what impacts it may have, head over to WCNC.com.
Thousands of people in Oahu are under evacuation orders tonight as officials warned one of the largest dams on the island is at risk of imminent failure. And this comes after two powerful storms struck Hawaii this past week. Water was flowing over top of the Waihaʻiʻawa Dam yesterday morning. Officials say there are more than 4,000 people within that dam evacuation area.
Yeah, they've been inundated. Not something they really deal with at all in Hawaii.
Yeah, they had two back-to-back Kona storms. Normally have trade winds. The winds came from the opposite direction with these storms, so flooded part of the island that normally doesn't get that much rain. And Oahu, that'll be a big deal because that's near the Dole pineapple plantation.
That's right.
So that would wipe out a lot of pineapples if that were to flood that area. Beautiful night here in the Carolinas. We've got gorgeous conditions right now with temperatures in the 60s. Now, lows are going to be lows are in the 50s, but tomorrow will be in the low 80s. I think Sunday legitimately could be the hottest day of the year so far, and we could threaten that record high of 89 degrees set in 1907. It's a long ways back there. I had to look back really far for those records. But next week we will cool back down. This warm March is going to continue. So tomorrow, probably some low clouds in the morning, a little bit of high cloud deck early on. If we see full sun, these temperatures could go higher. That's the only thing that slows down the warm up here the next couple of days are any clouds out there. So temperatures in the low 80s tomorrow. The wind should be more west-northwest tomorrow. That should help out with the wildfire smoke for at least a day. It's going to change again, though, as we go into Sunday, as temperatures will be warming up with southwest winds. A little bit of a northwest flow. You can see those scattered showers and thunderstorms. There's still a chance of isolated storms Saturday night, even into the overnight hours before we see that shift in the wind. Now, we had a small severe weather risk to the north today. Tomorrow, that risk is to the south. It's incredibly low It doesn't mean we're going to see widespread showers and storms, but the storms that do develop potentially could have some hail. Now, watch in the mountains during the late Saturday afternoon into the evening hours. These will form and then drift southeast. Look at the times, though. This could be into the wee hours of Sunday morning. And again, any one of those storms could produce some localized heavy rain, maybe some gusty winds and some small hail. All in all, we'd love to see some rain. We don't want to see severe weather with any of those storms that do develop, but we'll take anything we can get. So again, any severe weather risk on Saturday night, primarily small hail, maybe up to 1 inch in diameter, and a small wind threat right now. The pollen levels, if it wasn't for the smoke, the pollen would be getting to you because it's sky high. Oak is pretty high in some parts, but cedar right now, sweet gum and pine, which I could see all over my car tonight. It doesn't take long for the pine pollen to get over everything. It'll be very high through the rest of the weekend. So on Sunday, though, that's a day we could threaten that record. There's the record of 89, 1907, not 2007. 88's the forecast. Look at the average high for this time of year, about 66 degrees. Now, 7-day rainfall forecast. Tomorrow might be it for a while. And we're not going to see much rain. And this drought is going to get worse, I think, over the next 7 days because of the warm and windy conditions. This weekend down in Darlington, if you go down to the race, should be a great weekend. Very toasty. Use the sunscreen, drink plenty of water. Mid-80s on Saturday for the Xfinity race. On Sunday for the Cup race, temperatures close to 90 degrees. Your weekend forecast looks pretty nice. A small chance of a few pop-up storms late on Saturday. Sunday, a scorcher. A lot more sunshine. Temperatures upper 80s to near 90 degrees. Your Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast. Record heat Sunday, still near 80 Monday. There's the cool down Tuesday into Wednesday. Warms back up late next week. Just small rain chances now. Hopefully that'll increase. Next weekend certainly going to be cooler than what we're seeing this week, and highs will generally be in the 60s, so closer to normal for the end of March.
Brad, thank you. Thousands of High Point fans have traveled to Portland for the regionals to catch the Panthers in action, but 2 of them are taking the internet by storm.
And Ben Briscoe shows us how they're highlighting the head coach who took them to the promised land.
High Point in the second round of March Madness is already history-making, so it's only fitting that some of the fans are celebrating Stone Age style.
In a sea of purple, these two are easy to spot.
We stick out like a sore thumb when they do the crowd shots on TV. There's just 2 big guys in bright orange costumes.
Fred and Barney, also known as Eric and Chris, have fans all over the country talking after cameras kept cutting away to them in the final seconds of HBU beating Wisconsin.
My phone has not stopped ringing. Everyone loves it. Everyone seems to be going crazy for it.
They dress up as Flintstones to cheer on head coach Flynn Clayman, who took over this year.
Quick little Amazon. We had it overnighted one day and just stuck with it.
There's even an HBU Flintstones Instagram page now celebrating the team.
So proud of our students who got to fly all the way here, and it wasn't a quick trip for them. They get to stay. You know, we had to travel further than any team in the NCAA tournament. I saw a graphic, the most miles, and we still got our students out here. So for them to get to stay for a few more days and see another game is a dream come true for them. So yeah, we're just soaking it all in, but we're getting ready for a really good Arkansas team. We had a great prep today, and we feel ready to go.
We're ready for them. Let's make it to the Sweet 16, Elite 8, and Final 4, and hopefully let's get a ring.
High Point might be the underdogs tomorrow, but Vegas bookies say they've got about a 30% chance of winning this game. We'll find out in less than 24 hours. In Portland, I'm Ben Briscoe.
And in less than 3 minutes, we've got more sports coming your way. Queens basketball making history tonight in their first ever NCAA tournament appearance in Division I. Got a live report from St. Louis ahead.
The WCNC Charlotte Sports Report is sponsored by Mark Fick and Ford Lincoln.
Well, the Queens Royals tournament run ends here in St. Louis, losing to Purdue in the first round. Out-muscled and out-rebounded 41-19 at the hands of the bigger Big Ten champions from Purdue. But this was a season all about firsts for Queens University, and tonight marking the first ever Division I NCAA tournament appearance for the program after decades as contenders in Division II. It was a run full of fun and winning. They had Buddy the Street Dog, Coach Leonard Sweaters with a custom Irish St. Patrick's Day sweater tonight. And getting to this stage for the very first time, I asked the players to put it all into perspective.
Just to sum it up, a blessing, honestly. Like, we went through so many things, and for us to be here at this point, you can't ask for more than that. Like, as a team, we all love each other, from the coaches all the way down to the players, whether the red shirts or not. Like, we're just one big culture, one big family, and that's one thing literally like you don't find too many places. You could go to a lot of different D1s, a lot of D2s, whatever, but the culture might not always be the same. It might just be strictly basketball. Here, you don't feel like you're here for strictly basketball. You know you're going to develop outside of basketball and just be a better person.
It was a great season. You know, we accomplished a lot. We did a lot. We fought through a lot of adversity. And it's just been unbelievable so far. I know we didn't have the outcome we wanted today, but we still did the unbelievable. A lot of people wrote us off, you know, coming from a small school, 1,500 students, and we made it.
All right, Coach Grant Leonard has helped carry that culture of winning basketball for Queens from Division II now to Division I and into the NCAA tournament in their first year of eligibility. I went one-on-one with Coach Leonard after the game. What did you think about the way your guys came out in their first experience at this stage?
I thought they competed really, really hard and obviously produced a fantastic team. They're preseason #1, but we stayed in the fight. And in the end, you know, maybe the outcome wasn't exactly what we wanted, but the season was. And our guys can hold their head high because of how hard they played.
What did the country learn about the culture of Queens basketball these last couple of weeks?
I think they learned that, that you can have fun in basketball. And I think they learned that Queens has a lot to offer. And it was a special, special year.
It certainly was. Meanwhile, High Point and Duke remain as the only representatives in the dance from North Carolina. They'll play second-round games tomorrow, and the Blue Devils might get healthier. Logan Campbell has more from Greenville.
It's a quiet day here in Greenville, South Carolina, as Duke men's basketball is prepping and getting ready for its second round game against 9th-seeded TCU. Some good news on the injury front for the Blue Devils. Head coach John Shire told us that he is hopeful that starting center Patrick Gongbel will be back for the game against the Horned Frogs. Now, as we know, Duke is coming off of a nail-biter game against 16th-seeded Siena, but all the players in that locker room tell me that they know that they are confident that they will be able to get off to a fast start in this game.
I just feel like it's more like learning. You know, we did that during the whole year and responding, understanding what we did wrong. You know, it's a tournament game, but we prepared the same way as we did during the whole year. You know, just making sure that we're ready and just making sure that we compete at the highest level. So I feel like now understanding how the game is and, you know, just going out there and competing together is going to be key.
I think the biggest thing is just our preparation. I think when we got up 4-0 against Siena, we kind of took the gas pedals off and we were like, we got this. But that's not the situation it can ever be in a tournament like this. So there's understanding that we're going to throw some punches, we're going to go on some runs, and they're going to go on some runs tomorrow too. But just to stay poised, play our game, and just focus on being Duke basketball players and playing Duke basketball.
Tip-off between Duke and TCU is Saturday at 5:15. Reporting in Greenville, I'm Logan Campbell.
All right, thank you, Logan. Now back here with Queens, it seemed like everybody on social media was wondering where they could get that custom St. Patty's Day sweater that Grant Leonard had on. He told me he'll help him out, maybe send you a link, but he reminded me coaches get NIL deals too. What a fun year with the Royals. We'll be right back.
A warm weekend. It's going to feel like summer out there, especially on Sunday. Tomorrow, the cooler of the 2 days, low 80s. We could see an isolated thunderstorm Saturday night into the overnight. They'll be really isolated, but a couple could be strong. Just a heads up for that. Sunday, the record high is 89, set back in 1907.
Wow.
Chance we could tie that. Could be our first 90-degree day of the year.
I'm not ready.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend.